I was on Reddit to see if I could help anyone with interior design tips, and I came across this post where this person had asked for some help on how to make their room feel better. So I thought I'd make a video on how I would do that. Okay, so here we have this guy who's posted, "Help me design my living room and bedroom. Trying to find the best way to arrange my furniture in my bedroom and living room space. I haven't found a couch or coffee table yet since I'm still unsure how to design the living room." All right, so what we have done is we have put his plans, which he has kindly given, onto our SketchUp, which is our 3D software that we use for all our projects. And what I found is the plans has to be flipped around in order to match the photos. So just in case you're wondering why the writing is backwards, it's because I had to flip the plans, the 2D plans. So what you can see in his living room space is currently, this is where the fireplace is, this is where his entry is, and he's put the TV unit, which is here on this wall, and the rug this way along. So I understand what he's done because he has a TV unit, but the reality is I would actually put the TV on this wall over here. Reason being is that we want to try and maximize seating when you come into this room, but in this situation, because he has the entry to his deck right behind him where the TV goes, it'll actually make no sense. So instead, what I would do is I would bring out an L-shaped sofa and put it over here. I would then, because the TV would be over here now, so it makes it a lot more comfortable for that person to watch TV. We've got the window over here. So in order to make a conversation, we always like to add a little armchair. And that also just helps with, if someone's sitting over here and someone's sitting here, it makes it a nice conversation place. Now to tie up the room, we always add in a rug. So in this situation, we do get standard sizes, but if you have one that you want to make bespoke, you can get these cut from your local carpet guys, and then you match it to the space of the room. And in this situation, we'd go for a standard size of 1 m60 by 2 m30. They tend to fit that space quite well. And we put it underneath the sofa as well as outside, so it just kind of feels like it's overlapping. So if you see over here, I'll take out that rug, so you can see that space. Then it's always nice to have a coffee table to just put down your drinks. So I'd put one in here, and then maybe even a small side table just to kind of make it practical for your everyday pieces. And if you notice, there's still plenty of movement for you to walk around, get into your sofa, walk to the armchair, enjoy your view from over here. So there's plenty of flow. You want to add a bit of storage instead of the armchair, you could put a nice sideboard over here and make it decorative with art on top. Alternatively, if you're happy with the seating, we would suggest maybe putting a floor lamp on the other side just to kind of give it that nice feature, or even a plant, and maybe also another little side table if you need, or a footstool because you actually have the space, which could work out quite nice. And then it actually just makes it comfortable for that person who's sitting on there if it's like a reading area. There you go, there's your room. When we compare it to what they had done before, which is not have any space to put the sofa, we have put the sofa over here, put the TV on this wall, kept the armchair where it is, they've got that in the right place, and we shifted the rug the other way around. So right now it's this way, we would suggest you shift it to this way. Not only does this widen the whole space of the room, but it actually makes it not only comfortable for that person, it makes it extra seating. And then also what I've noticed is you enter this room, they've got storage, but it is quite nice to have a little bit of a feature, a bit of a design aspect. So maybe a nice console behind here. And sometimes you can't get such big sizes, so you could even double up to create either storage if you need extra storage, or if it's open, you can put stools underneath, which just means you have somewhere to take off your shoes when you walk into your home. You can also make it into a desk, so it becomes a small workspace for you to work in when you're in your living room. If you're lucky enough to get a console big enough, or a sideboard, it really makes a feature. And you could just add a nice little lamp over here to create some mood lighting. when it's late at night or in the mornings when it's dark, so that you have a little bit of ambience when you walk in or when you're not wanting to put all the lights on. And then there you have it. That's your living room space. It becomes a lot more practical, a lot more flow. And yeah, I would definitely advise doing it this way. And then when we moved to his bedroom, what I noticed was currently the bed is against the entry wall, which is perfectly fine because you're looking out at the window and seeing your view. But personally, we always like to put it on your feature wall, because that's the largest wall in the room. And when you enter, that's the biggest piece you want to actually look at when you walk in. So instead of having the bed over here, we would switch it around to putting it on this wall over here. A lot more impressive when you walk in. So you'd have your beds, you've got plenty of space for your bedsides, you've got plenty of space for, let's say, wall hung lights or lamps on top. And so when you walk in, you're constantly impressed when you see the room. Rather than seeing the side of the bed, you're seeing the front of the bed. I can't see if this person has any wardrobes, but I would put the wardrobes against this wall over here. And if depth is an issue, I'd get slide wardrobes. That way you've got plenty of space to be able to open, whereas if there's doors, sometimes it takes up too much space. And then they've got a desk that they've put on this wall over here by the window. You could either have it so that you're looking outside the window, so at least your view is nice, and then you actually get more space. You can make the desk bigger, which is always a better thing for somebody who works from home. You can also add a chest of drawers underneath, so then it becomes your storage area for your clothes. And then I noticed that they have a keyboard in there as well, which they put over here, which again, I would probably put in the same place. In this person's home, they have carpet, but if you wanted to maybe add a little bit more depth with wooden flooring, we would add a rug. And because you have plenty of space in front, we would add maybe a nice bench, just somewhere you can put your socks on in the morning, etc. And they've even left a little bit of space here, so I would add a large mirror so that when you're getting ready every day, you have something nice to be able to look at when you are getting ready, or you can even put an armchair over here instead, just depending on what you want to use the room for. Here I'd also put the TV, so that at least when you're in bed, you can look directly at the TV rather than leaving it on the corner where your neck is put at an angle. So if you can see, this room has now become a lot more comfortable and impressive when you walk in through this door. Oh, I see they've actually got a walk-in closet, so you don't need this wardrobe. You've got an even bigger room. Here you can put artwork, you can put a plant, a nice plant over here. There's a lot of things you could do. You can even put the keyboard over here if you feel that space is too tight, and you just have the TV with maybe a TV unit. And either your keyboard can go over here and your desk can be along this wall, so you have this long wall where you're able to put, let's say you need big screens and you won't be able to see outside the window. So this desk can also go over here. And do you notice how there's plenty of space, plenty of movement? I always draw a little person over here just to kind of give you an idea of how much space there is. So let's say you're walking through here, getting to your bed is easy, getting to your desk is easy. Your TV over here is nice and comfortable, standing in front of the mirror, sitting over here. You've made plenty of space for this room, but it's all spatially planned correctly. So from this, where the bed is over here, to this, actually puts your room in such a better light. So if you found this helpful, please send over any relevant plans or pictures you have of a space that you just don't know how to design. We can try, help advise, and give some tips on how to make the spatial planning better for you. Just email us on the description underneath the video.